Now on Denver 7, Marshall Fire victims getting a victory in court, but some aren't waiting for the county to start cleaning up.
I don't think you'll see this kind of progress anyplace else in any disaster area.
Plus, 30 years of work gone in an instant. Why that isn't stopping one fire victim from completing his life's mission.
The fire was so hot that it basically vaporized the upper 2 floors of the house.
And the Russian military stepping up its attacks in Ukraine in what U.S. security officials call a desperate move.
Testing it now is just an indication of how desperate they are in terms of trying to attack targets.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Denver 7 News at 5. I'm Byun Wayne.
And I'm Jacqueline Allen. We want to start off with a developing story about a very visible smoke plume you might have seen off I-25 this afternoon. Take a look. Denver Fire is working to put out a warehouse fire along Inca Street. This is near the interstate. No one was hurt. Denver Fire says there were only food trucks inside the warehouse. No word yet on what started this fire.
All right, 2 men are dead after they were both hit by cars on Colfax in Aurora. Police say a man was jaywalking across Colfax near Uvalde around 8 last night. A driver collided into that man and then stopped to provide help. After getting out of his car, the driver was then hit by a car. The first man died at the scene and the driver was taken to the hospital where he later died. Police say the third driver stayed on the scene and is cooperating with police.
A Colorado Springs police officer has been arrested on charges of kidnapping and child abuse. The Colorado Springs Police Department says it first became aware of allegations against Officer Shane Reed 2 weeks ago. They obtained an arrest warrant Thursday, and he is now facing 4 charges, including kidnapping, which is a felony. The department has placed Reed on administrative leave.
Denver police are still looking for a suspect after a 14-year-old girl died in a double shooting yesterday. Police were called to the area of East Montview in Ulster. 14-year-old Eris Mayberry was pronounced dead at the scene. A second teenager was taken to the hospital. Denver police are investigating, and so far no word on any arrests.
The Broncos are teaming up with the cities of Denver and Aurora to try to get guns off the streets. Today, they held a gun buyback event at Mile High Stadium. This is the first of several buybacks that will be happening over the next few months in the Denver metro. The process is completely anonymous. You drive up with your gun in your back seat or trunk, and a staff member collects it. Afterwards, these guns will be turned into garden tools. Today, they collected 189 guns. Tonight at 10, an in-depth look into these gun buyback programs, what they hope to accomplish, and whether they actually work.
It's been nearly 3 months since the Marshall Fire destroyed more than 1,000 homes in Boulder County, and now the debris removal process is one step closer to finally starting. A judge denied a request for a temporary restraining order and injunction yesterday to stop the process from moving forward. It was filed by a nonprofit that claimed the county violated open meeting laws when selecting a contractor. The group also claims that the county isn't even ready to begin debris removal, but a member of the Louisville City Council says that's not true.
I would tell him that organization to come to our community, talk to our residents. Our community is ready, and our city government is ready, and our staff have been working 24/7 since this disaster to get our community ready. We've been ready for weeks to remove this debris.
The judge did not rule on whether the county violated the state's open meeting laws.
Fire victims have less than 2 weeks to apply for disaster assistance through Boulder County. The deadline is Thursday, March 31st, and this is for people whose homes were damaged or destroyed and for people displaced because of smoke or ash contamination. And you can find a link to apply on Boulder County's website.
And we know some homeowners have opted not to wait for the county to clean up debris from their properties.
Today, Denver 7's Patrick Perez spoke with a man in Superior who already has his lot up for sale.
That 74-year-old homeowner lived on this lot in a house for 6 years before the Marshall Fire destroyed it. After cleaning up the lot on his own without the county's help, he now has a for sale sign up and is ready for this next chapter in his life. At 74 years old, Paul Williamson is about to embark on a new journey.
At my age, you know, the clock is ticking.
A day after the Marshall Fire destroyed his home in Superior, he was already coming up with plans to rebuild it. After all, he built a sustainable home that once stood in this 13,000 square foot lot.
My initial intent was to build back again, because that's the emotional thing, to make things right.
But after weighing the options and the toll rebuilding would take on his health, he had a change of heart for a change of scenery.
I decided that there are other things in this life. I've been there, done this already. there's other stuff out there.
Now Paul is looking at selling this lot and moving somewhere with a beach.
I'm going to have to go to Florida to start with. I liked going down the Keys. I used to live in the Virgin Islands, so that the Keys kind of gives me a little bit of a feel of the Virgin Islands.
To help make this goal a reality, a for sale sign is now up where his mailbox used to be. His asking price, just shy of $1 million for this 1/3 of an acre lot. That includes $55,000 worth of cleanup after the fire, which wasn't easy.
I don't think you'll see this kind of progress anyplace else in any disaster area.
2 weeks into putting his lot up for sale, he hasn't gotten any offers, but his neighbors tell him people are stopping by every 20 minutes or so to get more information. It won't be long, he says, before he's beachside.
I don't know, I'm almost ready to go now.
Patrick Perez, Denver 7.
Thank you. It's also important to note that several charities came together today to help Marshall Fire victims. The Cronky Sports Charities collected sports equipment today to help replace what was lost in the fire. So far, they have helped more than 3,500 victims by collecting and donating more than 70,000 pounds of clothes, food, and other essentials.
Good for them. And tonight we are also hearing stories of how some Marshall Fire victims are moving forward with their lives and their businesses.
Denver 7's Christian Lopez shows us how one man is planning to rebuild after the fire destroyed his lifelong dream.
Hey man, it's like 100-mile-an-hour winds here in Boulder. It is just absolutely freaking terrifying.
This was the last voicemail Tom Knox left on a friend's phone before escaping the Marshall Fire flames. When he returned, everything was gone.
It's sad, man. It's for me, if nothing else, it was my life savings.
Inside his home was a dream, decades in the making.
It's pretty unique. I mean, not many people are willing to, I think, invest everything.
He built a technology research lab he was using to develop products to help enhance tools we use every day.
Well, for example, when you aren't getting fast enough data rates on your phone, when your cell phone drops a call, this is all related to precision, time, and frequency. And so the more you can enhance that, the better the performance is going to be.
He had also planned to eventually pass it along to others.
It helped the next generation of engineering students, of electrical engineers, of people doing electronics type related physics to actually have a state-of-the-art lab so as they graduate, they can go and design their ideas and build their dreams.
But everything he worked so hard on for nearly 30 years vanished in just seconds.
So this was basically my lab. The fire was so hot that it basically vaporized the upper 2 floors of the house. And so what you see here is the remnants of my electronics lab in the basement of the house.
Despite losing it all, Tom says this is not stopping him.
I'm not going to give up my dreams. Those challenges you face in life that define us as human beings as to, are we people that can embrace these things, actually look forward to them and turn them into opportunities and turn them into successes.
He's still in the process of finding housing, but says he plans to continue working on launching his products as soon as he's able to, and he hopes to inspire others with his story.
If I can do this, then I can prove to other people that you can do it, even with a really, really tough situation of, job, life savings, and house gone. Can you go turn it around and go forward? And, I'm convinced I can do it. So, I think I'm really optimistic going forward.
In Superior, Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Now to the latest in Ukraine. Russian forces are attacking the western city of Lviv for the first time.
And this is actually horrible because the city is near the Polish border, which has served as a safe haven for Ukrainians until being hit by Russian missiles yesterday. ABC's Faith Abube has the latest.
Russian officials say they've used a hypersonic missile for the first time in this war, seen here in February as part of training exercises before the invasion began.
Testing it now is just an indication of how desperate they are in terms of trying to attack targets within Ukraine.
The missile set to fly 5 times the speed of sound, nearly impossible to shoot down. In Mariupol, hundreds may still be trapped under the rubble after the attack on a movie theater that was being used as a shelter. Seen here in images shared by Azov Battalion, a far-right paramilitary group now part of the Ukrainian National Guard. Lviv, once a safe haven during this war, hit for the first time on Friday by missiles fired from the Black Sea. This Ukrainian woman lives and works in Poland, but is returning to Ukraine to join the Territorial Defense Forces. I have 3 years of military experience, she says. Now I am going to defend Ukraine. While Russia appears to be broadening its targets, a senior U.S. defense official tells ABC News that Russian forces remain largely stalled on the battlefield, relying on artillery and long-range missiles to strike Ukrainian cities. Kyiv's mayor Vitaly Klitschko visiting a checkpoint outside the city where Ukrainian soldiers have been building trenches to halt the possible advance of Russian troops. The indiscriminate bombing of civilian areas continues. Ukrainian President Zelensky calling Russian tactics a war crime. This heartbreaking image out of Lviv, 109 baby strollers lined up, one for each child killed in this war so far. Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
The BA.2 coronavirus variant, sometimes called stealth Omicron, has been detected in Denver. The strain is responsible for a rise in cases in Europe, Asia, and more recently, New York City. That said, the vaccine appears effective, and neither Denver's health department nor local experts seem worried about our ability to handle it.
A lot of people were infected with Omicron, and a lot of the Colorado population is immunized today on their vaccines. And so I think while there's still a lot of uncertainty, it seems reasonable to think that this is not going to lead to the same type of really disruptive event that Omicron created in January.
150 people were hospitalized in Colorado with COVID at last check, and because of recent changes within the state, that number will not be updated again until Wednesday.
A Colorado landmark is welcoming visitors back after 2 years of COVID closures. Why visitors are now raving about the new and improved Famous Tour.
Plus, one of Colorado's weirdest and wackiest events is finally back. Hear about the frozen dead guy days next.
I'm meteorologist Stacey Donaldson. Beautiful weather here across Colorado today. Temperatures in the 50s right now. It'll be even warmer tomorrow before our next cold front with snow moves on through. I'll have all the details coming up.